don't have any more. No more earthly ones. It's the earthly ones who've persecuted us. We don't always realize that. And then there's a voice that spoke from heaven saying, "Blessed are they who die in the Lord from now on. They will find rest from their labor." So what do we see here? A contrast. We find rest for our labors. And guess what? Those who have accepted the mark of the beast, those who worship the beast, those who follow after the things of this world will have no rest for eternity. That's what it says. It's not a pleasant picture for the lost. But it's a great picture for those who through patient endurance remain faithful. Then we find that Jesus, the third angel, of course, is the third angel proclaimed that all that worship and bore the image or bore its mark, is what I said a minute ago, they're tormented with burning sulfur, and there would be no rest for them forever. The last half of the chapter simply describes the day of judgment once again. It's been described before in the book of Revelation, but we're getting it again. And this time it's very simple. Jesus is sitting on a cloud. He's got a sickle in his hand. And the fields are ripe. And the angel says, "It's ready." And he harvests the fields. He brings in the crops. It's Judgment Day. And an angel, at the same time or right afterwards, harvests the grapes of wrath. And you have to understand what that's saying. The grapes of wrath are those who are receiving the judgment of God. The wrath of God is being poured out upon them. That's the day of judgment. The day of salvation for the saved. A day when those who are not saved pay the price. Forever. Forever. Judgment Day. Listen, Revelation. I always have to catch myself too on that. It's only one. Revelation is a book of hope. And that's what it's all about. Hope. It tells about the rise and the power of evil, which is always overcome by God through Jesus Christ. And when we suffer at the hand of men and governments, we can understand one thing. That's the work of Satan. When we suffer at the hands of men and governments, that's the work of Satan. When we suffer from natural catastrophes, two things. One is sin in the world has changed the world so that it is not always good as it was in the beginning. That's one. Number two is that it is God's forewarning of the judgment to come. God tries to give us warning. What do you think Sodom and Gomorrah was about? What in the world was the captivity in Babylon about? What were all of these bad things that happened to good people? What was it about? What was it about with Job? It's all about, hey, wake up. Judgment Day is coming. Endure. Endure. And keep your hope. That's what it's about. Remember, Jesus alone saves. He saves us from destruction, and He gives us eternal life in Him. And you have to answer that question today if you haven't answered it before. And you will answer it today. I'm not going to force you to answer it, but you're going to answer it. Because if you say yes to Jesus, you're saying yes to eternal life. If you say no to Jesus, you know the results. We've already spoken it. And if you don't say anything, you're saying something. Philip, would you come lead us in our invitation?
Let's all stand on 496. Jesus is calling. Verses 1 and 4. Jesus is tenderly calling you home, calling today, calling today. Why from the sunshine of love will you roam, farther and farther away? Calling today, calling today. Jesus is calling, is tenderly calling today. Jesus is pleading, oh, hear now His voice. Hear Him today, hear Him today. They who believe on His name shall rejoice. Quickly rise and away. Calling today, calling today. Jesus is calling, is tenderly calling today. Trust and obey. When we walk in the light of His word, what a glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, He abides with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus but to trust and obey.